The beta for EA Sports FC 24 Mobile is out. Tonight, we're going to see if the full release is going to be worth the wait or if it's just going to end up a polished turd. EA is trickling out opportunities to get in the limited beta for EA Sports FC Mobile 24 on both Android and iOS. Not everyone is going to get a chance to play, but for those that do, it's a decent window into what we can expect for the new season. First though, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube and turn on notifications so you never miss when a video goes live for Raid, FIFA, or any of the other content here on the channel. It's free and it's easy, but it does make a big difference. EA Sports FC Mobile 24 Beta. It's a long name, but it's a small build. Now, the beta is not huge. It's just a peek into gameplay and overall feel of the upcoming rebrand and re-release. There are no campaigns, just this division rivals and the base level beta challenge that allows you to introduce into the game, play some various matches, and just repeats daily. It's just basically an insight into the game. You can choose some friends to play with and get into some versus matches or head-to-head matches or whatever you're going to do with that. It is not region locked for the beta. Need to mention that anybody can play against anybody. Lucian and I, obviously, we're not in the same region, and he's in my friends list. Beta is so small, in fact, that there are only 9 teams present, or as my Twitch stream put it, there's 8 teams and Tottenham. There's only a limited number of players as well. They're only the ones associated with those clubs, so don't expect the market to be breaking any records on coin movement. Actually, eventually in the market, with only having a limited number, with only those being the ones you can buy and sell. In fact, it's most likely that the transactions are going to die off very quickly with those being the only ones in the catalog. Since we're talking about it already, let's take a quick look at the market. Nothing really changed since FIFA Mobile 22. Instead of a player market, it's a player catalog. It's the Craigslist of football, if you will. Full of all the same handicaps and guardrails that we have in anything that we're used to in this last season that's lasted well over a year and a half. I'm starting with this because it's really the one place most legacy players really wanted to see big changes, and based on the beta, we have nothing. None. Not a zip. There's really no changes except one. You can now sell players who have been ranked up, but I'm not really calling that a change in the market over the current season in FIFA Mobile because it's more about the change in training and ranking than it is a change in the market. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now, if you're keeping track of pros and cons, so far the market is a huge gaping con for legacy players. Most new players, though, who have joined in the last 18 months, and this is their first season, they're probably going to be welcome to the return of the player catalog over an actual market, which is probably why it's still here. If that's all you know, this is kind of you've had a year and a half to get used to it, so it depends on whether or not you're a legacy and realize what we had before. Don't blame me. I grew up with an actual peer-to-peer market, but was raised by a bot for a stepdad. Let's talk about the changes in training and ranking. This I have mixed feelings about. Two of the biggest problems in the current version of FIFA Mobile are the training caps themselves and the predictability of the player training, the player progression due to those caps. EA has decided to divide training and ranking into 2 separate avenues of player progression with EA Sports FC. Ranking is no longer a part of the training process. Now you can train a player to increase their stats, but you can also separately rank a player to improve their OVR. Training is no longer dependent on position. We can use like goalkeepers to train a striker, which is, it's a good thing for training, but it's a bad thing for the market. Second, You do not have to train a player at all to rank them. If we go back to ranking, we'll pick somebody that we have multiple of. Okay, so here, if you want to rank a player, you can rank up a player multiple times. We'll do them once and just show we didn't have any training in there. You can rank, but if you decide to train a player, we'll pick another one. We'll pick Lamar and we will train him. If you start training this player, it gets to a point where you've reached the max current level and needs to rank up to further level up that player. So it's weird. You can train a player up till you have to rank them, but you can rank a player as far as you want without any training. So it kind of cuts both ways. Now on ranking though, if we do Lamar and we will rank him, one of the coolest new features of the split ranking and training system is the RNG that's been added into this ranking system at higher levels. Those familiar with my channel know that I also create content for Raid Shadow Legends, where numbers, RNG, and stats are king. Now, one of the components in upgrading gear in Raid is the unpredictability of upgrades at a higher level. Sometimes upgrading fails. The higher the level of upgrade, the less likely you are to be successful at all. EA has added that mechanic into ranking at higher levels. So as you can see here, we'll switch it over to the other side so you can see if we throw a player in, now it shows at ranking level 3, his probability is 0%. If we put 1 in, it goes to 50. We put 2, it's at 100%. So we're just going to throw 1 in at 50% and see what happens. You're going to use these like players to rank up. So ranking up Lamar, I can only use other Lamars. And as you get closer to max rank, you start to see probability is based on how many Lamars you put in to rank him. And yes, you can fail and lose those players. We're going to see. Okay, so here, this one at level 4, 1 is 20%, 2 is 40, 3 is 60, 80. You have to throw 5 in to max it out. Let's just throw 1 in and see if we can fail the rank. It's a failure. We just lost a Lamar in the process. Now, knowing that you can rank up a player without training, but you can't train without ranking up, that's where the changes to the market comes into play. So let's go ahead and let's do a 60% chance to see if we can't get it. Success. All right, so we only required 3 of the 5 to get it to go that through, but we also lost 1 in the process. Now, if I go to the market and I try to sell a player that's ranked, like Lamar, where's he at? We'll go to my players. Lamar, who's got all this ranking in him. If we try to sell him, in order to use a player for training or ranking, they must be unlocked. Do you want to unlock this player? Unlock. I can sell him with rank. There's no issue. But if I try to sell a player that is trained, like Griezmann, gonna unlock him, we get this warning that it's gonna strip his training to sell him. You cannot sell a trained player. Now let's go back to the ranked player. If you look at, let's go to purchase him. If you look at this diamond up in the left corner, it actually shows multiple value ranges for each player within their ranking limitations. This is awesome, and it's bringing a lot of possibilities to the market where most everything else in the beta is taking them away. So like Lamar, his base level is only worth 86,000, but if you look where we've got him trained up to rank 5, we can sell ours. His base value is over $1 million. Everything else in the beta is taking stuff away. This is adding massive value to the ranking system and giving value to players in the market, because remember, ranking requires the same player, and there's a gambling aspect to it with the RNG on whether or not the probability of the ranking works. So like I said, I got mixed feelings about this. I like the new training system and ranking system being separate. I love the fact that they've gone back to old seasons where you have to use like players to do the ranking, and that we've now got added value being able to sell ranked players that basically gives you know, 6 times the value to any player because of the ranking system. But the training and having caps on everything, it's not adding anything that we wanted to see in this new season. So again, we're going to be progression based and OVR locked on all of these players, specifically once we start ranking up and getting all of this training in. The main menu is a bit different. Actually, all of the UI is a bit different. The user interface is just more polished and smoother than the current build of FIFA Mobile. If you've played the most recent season, you will be able to pick up this version and be moderately aware of where everything is in a few minutes. Now, some of the big changes in the user interface are in the individual players themselves. So if we take a look at any of the players and hit details, we get this screen. This is much more detailed than in seasons past and even shows a recent snapshot of their transactions, sales orders, and purchase orders. They aren't real time though, just so you know, but they are close. In the locker room, you can update much more than you could in previous seasons. Now you have access to balls, kits, custom player numbers as well, short sleeve and long sleeves. If you go into appearance here, you can adjust the length of their kit, whether or not they're tucked in, their fit, you know, do they have a shirt that's 2 sizes too small, socks, cleats, everything. It's definitely a big change, and you can customize this for each individual player in your active squad too, independently. So like right now we're on Mbappe, we can give him white cleats, and then we can switch over to Kane and give him green cleats if we want. So it's not a change for everyone. It's not a mass change. It's individual players. In essence, you can single players out with different sock heights and, you know, long sleeves and color of cleats if you wanted, just to make things visually interesting on the pitch. In the beta, we don't have a whole lot to do. There are no current events or anything, just the beta campaign, which is beyond the division rivals. You'll be able to log in each day and complete quests here in the locker room that unlock multiple, you know, shoes, balls, kits, and all of that kind of stuff. And these come in by way of scoring goals, ranking, training players, purchasing store packs. The quest tab in the main menu is locked, but this basically functions the same kind of way. Let's see if we have anything. There we go. We have we ranked up the player here earlier, so now we have access to a new ball. I'm going to mention that these packs kind of look like condoms, but we'll just leave that. As you complete these requirements each day, you're going to unlock new stuff. This is more for the beta, you know, having this preseason beta with this stuff that unlocks. But I believe there's probably going to be something similar once the actual game is released. You know, there's just a lot here going on. But you know, under challenges, each day you'll have matches and skill games you can complete to earn players. There's coins in here as well as FC points, which is kind of what became it's what FIFA points are turning into, these FC points. We have gems as well. There you go, 3,500 gems. It's a lot of gems. Now these all reset daily. You can even play division rivals matches over here and earn a ton of gems and coins, and these are repeatable every day over and over for a ridiculous amount of gems. You can take those FC points and gems over to the store and open player packs for tradable players to use through training. Let's see, we'll open up a pack here just to see ranking it. You can rank these, train them, use them for training, use them for ranking, or you can sell them in the market, whatever it is. But that's about all the beta has to offer. And remember, there's only 9 clubs present and a handful of players in the game's catalog, so the market is going to time itself out pretty quickly, given how much stuff is free You know, how much you're getting free every day between the gems and the FC points and opening it up. But let's take stock real quick in all the pros and cons of the beta and what it's going to look like when the full release comes out. For pros, we have ranking and training is now separated. Training can transfer from player to player by using trained players as XP like in previous seasons. Those are big positives here. Ranking up requires duplicate players, which is going to be great for the market like in previous seasons. It's still not known if the duplicate player needs to be the same program or not, since everything in the beta is base. We're hoping that it's just a base player that you can go in. So like, let's say we have a team of the year Harry Kane, and you want to rank him up. You should just be able to use the base Harry Kane to rank him up, but that is unknown at this time. Being able to sell ranked players is a huge positive. The user interface is smooth and upgraded. Player detail pages are improved. Customizable player numbers and player appearances such as the kit tuck, sleeve length, ball, and boots. And the beta is not region locked. Those are all of the positives. So far, so good. But let's look at the cons already and see if we can kind of find a trend. Now, there are no real groundbreaking changes, just a few Q of L and UI changes. Although the beta is not region locked, we assume that the full release will be. There is still a player catalog, not a market. It's a player catalog. It is not a market, even though it says it's a market. And that market still has handicaps and pricing guardrails, meaning that EA can price fix players within the game. We still have training caps, which means players will become obsolete really quickly. Basically, soon every player in the game will have the same +5 OVR limit. So only the highest OVR current releases will have true value. Duplicates for ranking will help offset this, but only in value of outdated players. You cannot transfer training, though. You have to use your trained player as training into the other player to get it to transfer. So that's going back to previous seasons. So that's a positive. But just, it means once again, we're going to struggle to build theme squads unless you're building a top 5 worldwide team, which for legacy players negates everything we know and love about Ultimate Team. So nothing that legacy players have been complaining about in FIFA Mobile 22 was addressed, from the training caps to the market mechanics and handicaps and player progression. We're going to be subjected to the same parade of all players along the path of similar OVRs in the new game as we were in FIFA Mobile 22. Now, right now, the cons are far exceeding the pros. Now, while I've had this running in the background, there's one thing I haven't yet addressed in the beta, and that's gameplay. The gameplay is much smoother than in previous seasons. It feels more intuitive and responsive overall. Dribbling is super smooth, and the pace and speed on the players feels hyper realistic. The keepers are performing more realistically than in previous versions of the game. Now, people are going to argue that one up and down, which they always do, but in my opinion, the performance in the keepers feels much more realistic in this. One of the coolest new attributes to the game is this shooting function. We now have a power shot if you swipe right. It's not that you're adding power to your shot, but it's more of a push button powered up driven kick with accuracy. That's a lot of words to explain it, but you'll understand. Think of it as finessed but driven with laces rather than curled with instep or outside, depending upon which foot you're using. There's a nice little tightened animation when you get into it too. So it's just a super cool addition to the game. The demo still includes chip shots for swiping up on the button, fake shots for swiping left, and finesse when you swipe down. But it's these new power shots that are probably the most exciting functionality for taking the shooting aspect in the game. Penalty kicks. There was a major change to PKs and free kicks as well. Much more realistic in the beta in how they work over the current season. The results of your swipes, probably my favorite change to the gameplay for the beta over the current season of FIFA Mobile. Both taking PKs and defending PKs. This is my favorite new function in gameplay. It's close because power shots is right there, but yeah, free kicks and PKs definitely improved. Now let's take a look at skill moves. We lost one skill move. Flare Rainbow is no longer here. Let's switch to the other side so you can see this. Flare Rainbow is gone, but we did gain 5 new skill moves. We have Elastico, which is fantastic. Turn and spin, feint and exit, knock on, and hard stop down there at the bottom. Heel to heel became heel to heel flick, and based on the beta, it's not the only default skill move for mid-level, mid, and attack. It's just now split between the heel to heel flick. Where's it at? Heel to heel flick, and then the other one that everybody has is feint and exit. This new one, feint and exit. Lane change became big lane change because, you know, that's a big difference. Why not? Flick up became flick up jog. So you know what they're doing after they accidentally scoop the ball up into the defender's thigh. Step over became step over and exit. Because adding words means adding substance, apparently, to someone here who named all these. Now, don't let my jokes take away from my praise on the gameplay, though. The skill moves actually are the new skill moves are fantastic. They're smooth and they're working. Even in head-to-head, they're able to be used in play, and that's something that in North America we didn't have last season. Actually playing the matches is super smooth. Although the current season of FIFA Mobile was the best of the whole series by a long shot, the beta does ramp it up across the board. As for head-to-head, it seems much better as well, but with a limited number of users, that could change with a wide release. Now, if we go back to the pros and cons I was talking about earlier, gameplay has a lot of pros and 0 cons for me right now in the beta. It's smoother, it's more responsive, dribbling is improved, shooting is improved, all the improvements, including the passing updates from last season, are still present. Skill moves have been updated, free kicks and penalty changes are huge. It is a massive win on the side of gameplay. I have 0 negatives to point out, other than that the added descriptors in the skill move titles are there for no reason. The same guy who named the small size of a coffee at Starbucks as a tall probably added big to lane change. So what's the final verdict on the beta? Will the release of EA Sports FC Mobile 24 be worth the extended wait of a 21-month season full of pack promos, pack luck, lots of packs, more packs, a lack of diversity in events, everyone from the same OVR and team, no way to compete with theme squads, events that were way too long where everyone ended up with the exact same high-end OVR players as everyone else, more packs, pack luck. Did I mention packs? There were way too many packs in FIFA Mobile. Or will EA Sports FC Mobile 24 be just a rebrand of the current season full of, well, let's just say FIFA Mobile 22, which became FIFA Mobile 23, lacked diversity? So my final verdict on the beta, it's not a polished turd. It's not even a pig in lipstick. Yeah, it lacks the changes Legacies wanted to see, but the improvements in gameplay and the changes to the UI, the QOL, training, ranking is going to go a long way in minimizing the return of the player catalog, which they incorrectly name as a market. Now, I'm not disappointed, but I'm not excited either. There are way too many unknowns based on this very, very, very tiny beta. The OVR progression, thanks to the training caps, will be another year of no theme squads and a lot of everyone with the same teams. But if they do right by the events and base content, make major changes there. It's, like less focus on pack luck and more focus on larger range of possible rewards for casuals to grinders to whales. Reevaluate the length of the events and maybe revisit what we missed this year in staple events like Freeze, Easter, and Treasure Hunt. They could still add in another component we were missing this year, a long grindable piece of core content like we had in Seasons in FIFA Mobile 21 or even World Tour from FIFA Mobile 20. There's too many factors unknown at this time to say. I'm holding out hope that EA can right the ship and find a balance in the game. A balance between the watered down FIFA Mobile 22 we have currently that appeals only to new users and casuals, and a more complex game that allows grinders to grind and whales to jump ahead of the pack. That's the balance I hope EA Sports FC Mobile 24 brings. And hopefully they do it without the guy adding words to everything like it's a badly translated outsourced knockoff, which is kind of what we felt this season was. So there you have it. Everything you need to know about the beta, what we know and what we don't about EA Sports FC Mobile 24. My God, that name is way too long. If this helped, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube. It's free and easy, and it does make a difference on the channel. I'm Finally Sleeps. As long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep making videos.